let's begin the summit with a welcome note on the topic, the India Productified movement. And for this, I would like to invite on stage Ms. Shalini Sankarashana. Please give a round of applause. Shalini is a managing director and a country manager at Planwave and also a NASSCOM Product Council member and industry for NASSCOM Product Skills. She has a rich experience of 2+ decades, including the critical leadership in building enterprise SaaS products, leading product and technology functions, offering solutions and service to the world's largest financial institutes. She's built, shipped, and ran multiple product and platform of various size and spans with the customer across North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. Over to you, Shalini.
Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. So nice to see a full room. We were just talking, some of us, it's so nice to be back in Taj. It's so nice to be back in this NPC edition. Warm welcome from all of us. I will stand and speak. I have this huge responsibility of representing what is India Productified movement. I think it's very hard to do it in 10 minutes. So what I will do though is I will spend a few minutes of what the thinking has been, what we have been doing as a group of NASSCOM, and this is truly led by a host of volunteers from every part of the industry who are driving this, a lot of them actually sitting in the room today. I'll quickly describe that and our ethos and philosophy, and probably talk to you a bit about the product skilling movement, specifically because that we believe is the backbone for the India Productified movement. And with that, we will kind of get into the part of the summit. So Product Management Summit today is focused on multiple themes. This is not just about product managers, this is about anybody who's associated with product. So you will see a panel sessions, discussions about all facets of product management. So I would absolutely urge and recommend all of you to join through all the sessions, because we have made sure it covers a wide array of topics. So with that, let me quickly talk about what is India Productified. So this was a hashtag which we introduced about 2.5 years ago. And the idea of India Productified was, if we step back, India as a software economy, and some of you were in the plenary sessions in the morning, you saw that the growth of India's software ecosystem has been led by stalwarts in the services organizations. We are a multi-billion-dollar global industry today, servicing the entire globe. The last decade, and probably last 15 years or so, India has constantly looked at focusing on how do we transform from services to a truly product nation. What does product nation mean? It means probably 3 to 4 things. One is, how do we explore India as a market? What can we build for us? That itself is one facet of India Productified. Second is what we build. How do we build it in a world-class way? So that is what the summit is talking about, world-class from India. Third is, as we start building for our own, by us, by the product, for the product, to the product, and to the nation, we start empowering the entire ecosystem. The idea is, how can India become a product nation? And this is fueled by our startup ecosystem, which is absolutely brilliant. You heard that we are third in the startup index globally. And as this ecosystem is growing beyond startups and scale-ups, we have this unique ecosystem of, we have the startup world, we have scale-ups, and we have our whole GCC world, which is essentially our India organizations of global entities, which are servicing excellent brands, which are servicing probably every part of the global industry today, and that becomes a seed to our productification movement. So look at this whole ecosystem, and as NASSCOM, when we came together, the whole NASSCOM product charter, there are 4 pillars to it. Before I get to the 4 pillars, what we realized is, as the transformation is happening, you're seeing the economy from the software world in India is now growing into a $30 billion economy recognized truly as driven by products. That's a very, very significant number. And $30 billion is a direct product revenue. Indirect, where you start talking about what can product enablers start driving, this number is shooting up to hundreds. So while the number is not as important, the growth rate is tremendous. With all this, the discussion we've had in the last few years was what is needed really to streamline, create a solid ecosystem to build this and take this hockey stick trajectory on a product. So we identified 4 pillars, one of them being skilling. Skilling is foundational. Skilling is to build these product builders, world-class product builders out of India. Second being our deep tech movement. You would hear about it in the rest of our conference. Third being our policy making. NASSCOM works with the policy and government. And fourth being enabling this whole thing with the entire ecosystem coming together. So I will quickly touch upon the product skilling bit. So India Productified is a superset of all this. And this has been a wholly volunteer-driven ecosystem. We began about 24 months ago, starting to really put a charter on what does skilling actually mean. And even today, I think we're on a journey. But what we realized is let's start defining what would product look like, what would product management look like, what would product building look like in various contexts. So a team of less than 10, we began, and today we are about 150 plus volunteers driving multiple pillars in the ecosystem. So quickly walking through. Thank you. So what I want to do is just share with you what are the 4 key pillars that we work on. So as you can see, this is a direct update slide. So we actually run this as an initiative, as a program. So this is the latest. So we have 4 pillars. Upskilling being our prominent pillar, and this has become the foundation, where what we have been doing is truly creating best of breed content on product management. Not just content that you can do a self learning, but also curating across world leaders who have done this day in, day out. So that's probably something which, and it's available today as part of our Future Skills initiative. So with this, the idea of upskilling is to make it available to every part of the ecosystem, from an aspirant, an entry-level product person, all the way to top-level product organizations. Mentorship, I think, has been our latest pillar, something which is extremely critical. What we realized is, as we have been building the foundation of the whole pyramid, we realized how do we start really helping grow the top of the pyramid. And we believe mentorship is probably the one thing which has come out as the #1 ask when we talk to multiple product community that we have built. Today we have about 2,500 plus people, product community members within our Slack channel. So all these inputs are actually coming from there. Welcome you to join them. So when we started talking about mentorship, we looked at mentorship in 2 ways. We said mentorship at a product practitioner level, which is, how do I do X, Y, Z? I'm in this kind of a context, how do I do it? That kind of a help that is coming in from mentors. So this is a curated cohort. But also, how do we start developing world-class chief product officers out of India? For us, that's the aspiration, right? You build the leader builds the team. So with that hypothesis, we have launched a new cohort and truly exclusively giving access to mentors who are leading multi-billion-dollar ecosystems to these leaders who are aspiring to be executive product leaders. With this aspiration, what we have realized is beyond mentorship, so we are talking about upskilling, which is the foundational, mentorship, which is the middle and the top layer. How do we build awareness? How many of you really understand what is product management? Or a more important question is, how many of you think in your organizations or your context, people understand product management? A raise of hands. The room says less than 10 hands have raised. So which means we are in a place where globally it's a very niche discipline, but within India, awareness is extremely limited. When awareness gets limited, clarity of the role becomes fuzzy. We all know this. Everybody does whatever they want. And then you start ending up blaming product as a function for not enabling success. So the reason we picked the 3rd pillar as evangelism is, and this is where we are truly working bottoms up and across our industry leaders, is to build a community that is driven, self-paced, and work at an academic level, colleges level, organizations, our SME councils, small and medium organizations, startups, GCC. So we are trying to look at each part of the ecosystem. So the evangelism community building has been our big effort, because we realize this has been a backbone of why we haven't been able to grow further. And the last one, which we're all very, very passionate about, is a new initiative we launched called Women Product Champions. The idea was, as we are growing the product community, how do we start building a larger women product leaders, product players, and building safe spaces for women to have those conversations, to get skilled along with the rest of the community. Engagement has been tremendous. I'll not go into the specific details, but as you can see, we have been continuously growing in terms of representation, in terms of community engagement, in terms of the content, the hours, the skilling, the training, and availability to the hundreds of millions of people in the ecosystem. The roadmap ahead. So with the roadmap, what we also started to see is, while this has been a volunteer-driven ecosystem built within the India context, we are starting to look at now, how do we engage with other partners? NASSCOM has this unique advantage of bringing together a lot of players. So we are doing that. So the reason I showed this is for you to understand India Productified is no longer just a concept. It has pillars, and each pillar is running as a program. And there is an opportunity for many of you to contribute, many of you to take advantage, but more importantly, many of you to actually lead these. And today where we are is because of all of us. And I can tell you personally, this has been an extremely fulfilling experience because it's such an open-ended networking opportunity and understanding and learning that nobody can actually beat this. So with that, I would really encourage all of you to enjoy the summit today. Happy to be part of the overall conference and welcoming you all again. And thanks to the folks in the back who are standing and listening. I understand your passion even more. So thanks again. With a round of applause, let's welcome the next speaker.